Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another review of The Beginning After the End. I am Richie Roberts. I am joined by Moonlight Sparks
Hi.
and Fenris Aroon.
It,
We've got a varied view of this series. Fenris is anime only, so he is experiencing all of this from the first time. So, predominantly going to hear his thoughts first before Moon and I start kind of dissecting it and comparing it. But Moon is about halfway through the story of this series, and I am partway through volume 11, so I'm pretty far in. I have also read the web comics, so that's kind of prevalent on my mind as I'm watching this episode as well. And yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it. Oh yeah, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge one of the comments from our last review that it was the most boring review ever. We can do better. We can make it way more boring if you like. You know, it's not that
And
deep.
yes,
here
I
we
am very
have
good
the
at being boring.
episode where Arthur came into the Elven Kingdom.
No, I'm just thinking I need to channel my inner Ben Stein. Isn't that the guy that was like dry eyes, red eyes, clear
Yes, that
eyes?
was
Bueller.
Ben Stein.
Yeah,
Bueller.
yeah. Anyway, but yeah, thinking about it, I realized that I actually have criteria for like how I was judging the previous stuff, but I never applied it to the anime, and I should have. Okay, so my criteria for the novels is uh, story, character, and the world building. The How does the world feel? Does it feel alive? You know, that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna call it world. Just world. Those are my three criteria for the book, and then or for the novels, and then for the manhwa, it's those three criteria plus art because you're now able to visually see stuff as opposed to just imagining it. And then with this, we get six because there's two extra elements added in. So we get we change art to animation, and then we add music. I think I wanted to choose voice as well because there's actual voiceover. Man, there's a lot of categories. Yeah, I think it was also voice because I mentioned that as well.
Yeah.
So we're gonna rate these individual things, and then finally we'll rate the episode as a whole. Just to get this out of the way, the when it comes to the novel side of things, I give the story 5 stars. I give the characters 5 stars, and I give the world 5 stars. When it comes to the manhwa, story and characters stay at 5 stars. The world is kind of like 4.5. It still feels. I don't. I think it's because of the difference between the two different versions that because I'm seeing it and it feels more like a comic as opposed to a world that I can imagine myself in. I think there's just a mild disconnect there for me. And then art is the other category. I give the art a 4 out of 5 because it's good, but I've seen way better manhwa art. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's like on the same level as some really masterclass art pieces that I've seen in comics. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at on those two. Overall, novel 5 out of 5 as a whole. Manhwa 4 out of 5. And there's some minor changes between the novels and the manhwa, and stuff like that happens in every medium. So I have been giving the show the benefit of the doubt, and it really stretched my willingness to do that with this episode. But we'll talk more about that as time goes on. But first off, Fenris, I'd like to hear from you before you're influenced by anything that we would have to say about the other versions of this. I want to hear straight from you. What did you think about the story for this episode?
Honestly, over the last 4 episodes, this is not living up to the hype that you and Moon had for it.
Yeah.
I am dramatically disappointed with this anime so far.
Yeah. I can understand. But just on a story side of things, is that what you're referencing?
Yeah, on basically just on the anime in general, story, the world building, everything. If we weren't doing these reviews, I would have dropped it by episode 2.
I don't blame you.
I really don't blame you either.
Also, it's really weird to me. Like, okay, so they cut these things out, but they choose to focus on this instead. Okay, the whole Tessia like thing at the beginning, her facial expression, that was
Yeah.
a really odd thing for them to come back and focus on. Also, we
Because
didn't need
I'm having to sit there like, is that a thing that happened? I don't remember
is
that
not.
being a thing
It
he
is
tried to
not.
think about.
It is not. It is an anime only thing, and they're hyper focusing on this. They are overly emphasizing Gray and his previous life and like how dark of a individual he was. That did not happen in either versions.
Also, it gave me mild spoilers because, like, I met a character named Nico, and then there was a reference, and I was like, okay. Well, I know what happens there.
Yeah,
I'm
they are
still reading
teasing
the
stuff.
books currently.
They are teasing stuff that hasn't been revealed, but it's actually fine that they're teasing some things because here's the thing: if you haven't read about Nico, you wouldn't know that that's Nico.
This is true. I only know who Nico is because I've met Nico, and I know what's going on with Nico currently.
Yeah, it's not actually spoiler. It's just it's neat little tidbits that they've thrown in there, and I'll give them credit. I like when they do those things. However,
So what you're telling me is Art is eventually going to meet Nee.
no,
You could say that.
Cooney.
No,
You said
Nico,
Nee?
Nico, Nee.
No, you said knee. I said no, and then Cooney. You know Cooney. All right, there we go. Yeah, see, yeah, I'm dumb. All right,
Hmm.
all right. So, on story stuff for this episode, I just focusing on this episode.
Man, I am
Fitness, what
so
were your thoughts?
confused on just this episode story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, shows up, immediately gets threatened to be executed.
Uh huh.
Princess is like, no, blah blah blah, bullshit. Gives little girl stare to dad. Dad gives in because daddy's little girl and all that shit.
Okay.
And then I was completely lost from there.
Yeah, the tone of this is
Yeah.
very different from the other iterations. I
Which,
mean,
honestly, I was sitting here watching this whole thing, and I'm like, I remember the book being a lot more gentle. The king and queen were extremely happy. And,
Yeah.
like,
like they have changed
ah,
they have changed the tone of this and made it worse.
yeah.
This
And
was
honestly, here-
this is by far the worst episode that has come out.
Yeah.
And
I hated
honestly,
this
there's
episode.
only
Mhm.
one thing about this episode that I would agree with in
Mhm.
anything. I mean, the elves aren't wrong when they call humans savages.
I mean,
To be fair,
We are
the
a very
elves-
savage race.
Oh,
So,
oh,
yeah.
yeah. You have to understand something.
Or
You have to
species.
understand something about this world. All three of them are savages. Elves.
Yeah.
Dwarves,
No, I meant
humans.
in just general, like
Oh, no,
even
I get-
real
I get
world,
what
we're
you're
a
saying.
very
I get
savage.
I get what
you're
you're
species.
saying. But
But,
also,
like-
that point that Arthur made about slavers being a thing of profession and not race, that is very apt.
That is 100% true. All
Dwarves, humans, and elves all participate.
all have yeah, they all participate in slave trade. It's yeah. So did you said you had some questions? Go ahead and ask them.
Oh, no questions really, because
okay.
I'm just like, there's only one thing I want to bring up that I've noticed in the last 3 episodes.
Mhm.
Yes.
They have a very common theme.
Mm-hmm.
Either you obey me and listen to what I say, or you're gonna die.
To be fair,
They're
that's-
trying to play up the intrigue.
yeah,
Trying
they-
to, like, come back for next episode to see what happens.
they
No,
are
it's not
heightening-
even next episode. It's
No,
okay, episode 2, you got the bandit, like, okay, hand her over, or you'll die. You got episode 3, eat this at the beginning, or you'll die. And then you got the grandfather, okay, you're going to be my apprentice, or you'll die.
Fair.
it's the way that the anime is doing this that does not work.
Mhm.
I you know what? Fuck it. After this recording, I'm going to go ahead and screen share the comic with you so you can see like the parts of the comic that the anime has covered up to this point, and then we'll do a second review just based on that where you can just go off on like the difference and like what you think they did right, what you think they did wrong.
And it'll also be my first time seeing the comic, so I'm
There you
excited.
go. All right, so from the story perspective on this episode, it's safe to say that the previous episodes they've moved by at a quick pace.
Mhm.
This was the slowest episode.
And in a bad way.
Yeah, not in a good way at all. Also, can we just say that the flashback where we had to re-listen to the dialogue from the slavers was the most unnecessary scene in this whole episode?
Yes.
Oh shit, we need an extra like 20 seconds. What are we gonna do? Flashback! Got it.
That was unbelievably ridiculous and unnecessary. The thing is, the anime is actually telling the story of the beginning after the end. They're just telling it in a way that makes it way more serious and cuts out the warm tones that were in the beginning. Here's the thing. It's so weird to say in the beginning when you're talking about the beginning after the end
Beginning
without
after the end,
somebody
yeah.
make the jokes. But in the beginning, like the first volume or two, like there is a kind of warm, hopeful, comedic tone throughout.
Yeah, it's
present.
very lighthearted. It's nice. Even
yeah.
when he's killing the slavers, it just feels warm. It feels like nice.
Yeah.
And they get mildly graphic.
And so a lot of that stuff from both the novel and the comics is left out, and they're trying to make it way more serious, and that is killing the story. Especially for like, I don't know how it is for anime onlys because I went into this already knowing, I knew how things were before. And it's not necessarily that I disagree with everything that the anime is doing, because they have made some changes that I think are actually positive. But changing the vibe of a lot of this stuff, like, okay, first off, art is way too serious. Like, way too. I will say I was happy with the whole talking about the spoiled princess thing. Oh, you're a spoiled princess. Get treated. I'm like, okay, we're starting to get like those moments between Tess and Art and how they interact with each other. But like last episode gave me hope because it was the best episode that they'd done so far, and it was more in line with the story. I'll tell you what, the one main difference between the previous two from the novel and the comic, that's what I meant by the previous two, was that they had the little antler wolf thing come and drop off a boar. I don't remember that happening. I think that was anime only. Yeah. And I thought that was a good touch. Like that was
a nice touch.
Yeah, that was something that they added in the anime that actually enhanced like the overall tone of that episode. That episode was a good episode
it adds in that little touch of what Sylvia was saying of like, not everything has to be solved with killing. Do what? Sylvia.
Oh, Sylvia. Okay.
Yeah, Sylvia was saying the whole thing of like, you don't have to do it with animosity or hatred or anything. Not everything has to be like killing and stuff. You can do things calmly. His first thought was like, it'd be better to put these guys out of their misery. They got some kind of magic device on them. I don't know. Tessia immediately walks up. We can just take this thing off, right?
All right.
And then they run away.
All right. So the other thing that I want to get into next, if we're not done, okay. Are we still talking story, or do we want to move on to characters?
I think we're good to move on to characters.
Yeah, we're good to move on to characters.
All right. So Fenris, out of all the characters that got introduced this time around, we met the parents, the grandpa, random guards, stuff like that. There weren't a lot of like big character like like we got like a couple of characters, but not like too many, you know. So I'm glad for that. But what were your thoughts on the characters?
My favorite character in this episode were those green glowing orbs because they didn't speak.
I can't wait to hear this episode dubbed because I am
Yeah.
actually I did watch the first 2 episodes dubbed, and it's rare that it does happen, but it does happen. I listened to a dub, and I think the voices match the characters better in English than they do in Japanese.
Yep.
I don't know why.
Also, another fantastic thing about those green glowing orbs, when they move or were in combat, it wasn't just them sliding across the screen.
Also true.
Mhm.
They were
Okay.
actually animated.
But yeah, we met Grandpa and then Mom and Dad, and we got some more Tessia moments, and of course, art being art. Any particular stuff from this episode with the characters that you want to mention, or was it not worth mentioning?
Nothing worth mentioning because it's, the stereotypical elves hate human trope.
Okay. Okay. To be fair, there's a lot of context and backstory that should have been explained
Oh,
by now that hasn't.
I'm
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
I'm sure there is.
Oh,
But
I'm
without
I'm pissed.
explanation,
Dude, we're 5 episodes in, and you guys don't even know what the fuck monocores are about, like, right now. I'm mad. The magic system
Mhm.
has not been explained 5 episodes in. I am so upset with this.
Like, honestly, they could have taken the first episode just to explain Manacores and the world.
They could have done an episode 0 that just did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
would have been great.
This is just like, it's not even the animation anymore that's bad. It's the stuff that they cut out in the storytelling, the world building. It's just all gone. What made Slime such a great isekai isn't just the fact that they had decent animation. It was the fact that it took its time and care to do the world building. Now, admittedly, Slime is like 60% world building, but still. And people complain
You
about all the
could even
meetings.
say-
And I'm like, shut the fuck up. The meetings, pardon me.
Meetings
Shut the
are
fuck up.
important.
Yeah, the meetings are important because they give you context.
and okay, so let's go on. So we got the people who will say that Mushoku, or not Mushoku Tensei, Slime is not a good example of it because of how boring the first half of season 3 is.
Oh,
Well, then we can refer to Mushoku Tensei. That also has fantastic world building.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and to be fair, this gets compared to Mushoku Tensei a lot because
lot.
it has that world building. And guess what's left out? The world building.
World
I
building.
love how we basically were like, okay, yeah, I don't have anything to say about characters. Neither of us commented on that. We skipped right to world building.
No,
I will
well, I
say-
mean, I've got stuff I could say about the characters. I
Go
was
for
just
it.
going with the flow.
Go for it.
'Cause-
Go for it. Characters.
So
Go
first of all, Arthur.
Mhm.
Oh my god. He is way too serious. He has been way too serious. We started to see him lighten up a bit last episode. That it's still not there. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping maybe the English dub fixes that a little bit. I could see that being a thing. But Arthur, straight from when he was born in the books, he wasn't all serious. He still had those memories. He still had those thoughts. He was serious up to a point, but he started to lighten up with his parents.
right.
So he was a lot more lighthearted than he is being portrayed right now. And
Gotcha.
even when he found Tessia, it wasn't a thing of like, oh, I need to fine, I will make sure she is safe because she is begging. It was more of a thing of like, damn it, fine, I'll take care of you.
Like,
there
fuck,
was
I
more
can't
of a
leave this
lighthearted
helpless child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing of, I could just leave her here, it should be okay. It was a thing of, oh no, she's actually a kid. Ah, shit.
Fuck. Have to remember, not everybody's reincarnated like I am.
And like even with this, his interactions with Tessia and Virian, and even the king and queen, they are appropriately serious, but he still has an air of like lightheartedness, specifically with Virian and Tessia.
Yeah.
And also Virian. Virian was way too angry from the start. What the fuck? In the book, he comes up, and I remember like just imagining him more with a smile, just
Yeah.
like, The fuck are you doing? He
The-
clearly saved her.
The major change this episode was all the stuff in the beginning. The potential execution, the
Mhm.
mom and dad showing up and being unbelievably pissed.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because they
that
they
was
weren't
so-
pissed. They
that
were
was so
very
different.
happy. They were thankful, but they
Yeah.
also knew the issues. So
Yeah,
they were like, "Okay, so we're very thankful, but we're gonna need you to come with us immediately
they
because this is
were-
gonna cause a scene."
They were grateful, but they were also cautious
Yeah.
because it's a human that showed up with her. I was like, "Huh, my daughter, I'm so glad to see you. Why did you bring a human home?" Like
Mhm.
kind of that vibe.
And it wasn't a thing of Tessia needing to stare him down to make him acquiesce. It was a thing of him being all like, "Well, normally this happens, but you seem okay, and you're just a fucking kid, so ah."
And to be fair,
Okay.
there are moments where Arthur is serious and like,
Mhm.
okay, so his whole thing of bowing down and being very polite and
That happened.
and cordial, that actually happens. And there is context for that, of course. I think the
Yeah.
anime does get this part right, but there's also stuff where Arthur's only serious in very specific moments, and it's that it is that air. There are moments, and I really hope the anime does this, but I don't think they're gonna. There are
Probably not.
moments where royals, he is in the presence of the king of the humans, the king of the elves, and like he's talking to them like it is a child talking to them as an equal, and they're like, "What the fuck is this pressure?" Like they are feeling his kingly pressure, and it's so good.
Richie?
It's so good. Yeah.
Just from the
Real
way he's
quick?
talking to.
Yeah.
What you did earlier with the dad, could you try that again? But instead of saying a human, could you say common?
No. No.
What?
No. Fuck you. We are not. We are not doing. We are not doing this shield hero nonsense. No. You go to hell. Anyway.
I just find it. I
Common.
could hear it.
All right. There you go.
I could hear it in my head. I'm just like, I need to hear him actually say it.
You need to hear. You need to hear Carson say it. That's what we're really getting into. Okay.
That too.
Now, as for the world, I don't have a huge comparison. I to
tell
be
you
fair-
what, though, I loved those statues they had standing up all over the place. That was great.
No, I do like the shots that we got of like Eleanor as they're walking to the castle, like all those different shots of the environment and things like that. Those look
But it
fine.
doesn't feel alive.
It does not. There was such a huge lack of people that it.
No.
does not-
There was people,
No,
but they were
not a lot.
statues.
Yeah, they weren't a lot of people. Like
That too. This doesn't even
It-
feel like a
this doesn't-
city.
yeah, this
The
does
way
not
it was
feel.
described in the book, I
Eleanor-
thought it was like fucking.
Eleanor
like,
is the
buildings.
capital of the elven country. This
Yeah.
did not feel like a moving and bustling capital.
No, this felt more like a refugee camp.
No,
Yeah.
no, refugee camps have more population.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
This was so poorly done. Like I'm wondering what they did with this budget. This is literally how to take a good story and ruin it. That's literally what I'm getting here. Unfortunately, we're going to finish watching this series and then I'm hoping they do well, but honestly, with how things have been going, I think by the time we get to the end of this series, we're just going to throw up.
Yeah.
Honestly, and this is just me saying this, I don't see this ever getting a season 2.
I don't either. Unless
I don't. Yeah.
I'm starting to. You're making me side with the people that are crying for this to get remade by a better studio.
Mm-hmm. Because it
This is
deserves
just
it.
bad. It does. It's so good.
Hell,
Anyway.
I would even be okay with if an American animation studio took it over. Instead of making an anime, make it a bit more cartoony. And you know what? It
Honestly-
would still work.
Honestly, I think Netflix would do it better.
I think they would.
Yeah.
Too. I think we could have gotten this through. Well, the funny thing is, if Netflix had come in and helped with bankrolling it, it probably would have got a studio like Studio Wit.
Mm-hmm.
And Studio Wit is really good at what they do. Or what was the other one? Oh my God! Now that you've seen Haikyuu, could you imagine what would happen if Production IG got this property?
Oh my God, yes, please.
Yeah. Oh no, we haven't even gotten to the best stuff that Production IG has done. That's later today. You're doing the movie. That will. That is. It's gonna be such a shock to your system. I kind of wish that Fenris would. You would just with no context, just watch the movie with us, just for the sheer. Your eyes need to. Your eyes need a reminder of what like good animation, just top tier quality good shit is. You don't need context of anything. This team is this team.
Could you imagine
this
if
team is
Trigger did
team.
this?
They're playing against each other. Yeah. Oh God, Studio Trigger. Yeah, that'd be fucking phenomenal.
Oh
Dude,
my
we're not asking for the moon. We're not looking for Mappa or Ufotable or
Io Annie.
or A1. We're like, dude, we'll take
Just something
just
better,
somebody,
please.
please, yeah. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let's we're already talking about the animation. Goodness. So yeah, it was returned to the slideshow at the after the end. We went
Oh, yeah,
back to
that
slideshow,
was-
and I was not happy. Like I was finally getting hopeful. I was finally getting hopeful because the previous two episodes, episodes 3 and 4, were a step in the right direction. We were moving away from the slideshow, and then as soon as we get to episode 5, it's right back to it. It's like, what the fuck happened?
They had to draw more than 5 characters in a room at once.
I know they gave me hope and then took it away.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
You know, Moon, you joke about that, but I'm fairly certain that's what happened.
No, I wasn't joking.
All right. Do we want to talk about the voice work in this episode? The only one I had is that I don't like.
Virion doesn't match.
Virion does not match, and that's nothing against the voice actor. I have heard them in many other things. Many things, many very good things. Sorry, I say the word many, and that's where I go.
In my head, I was thinking like maybe they'll get the voice actor for Hakuro.
Oh, that would fit so much better.
Exactly.
Jiraiya, yeah. Because
God.
to be fair, that is the voice I hear. I hear Hakuro from Slime, or I guess Jiraiya from Naruto, because that's where I first heard that voice. But like, yeah, I absolutely heard him because he could be the loving grandpa, and yet he can also turn into the serious war hero.
Precisely.
Like he could do
And
those
it's like-
really well, and it's
Oh
it's
my
just
gosh.
that voice
Instead,
does
we
not
get
quite fit.
fucking Ronin Warrior number 86.
Hey, don't you dare fucking disrespect Ronin Warriors with this.
I'm going to look up actually, if one of you would like to look up the voice actor for Virion, if that's possible.
I can. Yeah, give me a sec.
But yeah, I mean, to be fair, the rest of the voices fit. I didn't have a problem with them overall, and that's been consistent more or less. Like some of those fit, some of them don't. It just So the last thing before we get to like talking about the episode as a whole that we want to break down is music. So far, the music for the anime has been relatively good. This was the first episode where I heard the music in it, and I was like, meh. Like it went from good or really good to just okay, and I don't know why. Maybe it was just this episode being a whole downer that I was like hypercritical or something, but like the music didn't really hit.
Yeah, no. I barely even noticed the music this episode, honestly.
I felt so bad that I was
there
looking
was
forward
music?
to this episode. Yeah, there was. There was.
Aside from the opening and ending,
Yeah, there
is-
was.
honestly, watching it,
This
I
has a
didn't
score.
notice any music.
Yeah, because the music does not serve to enhance the scene. Like it's not serving to enhance the feeling you have of what's going on. This was the worst episode. I gotta be 100%. All right. Is there any last minute thoughts we have for this episode?
Looks
before
like it was the voice actor for Virion was Keiichi Sonobe,
okay. I don't know JP voice.
known for Silver's Rayleigh from One Piece.
He's Rayleigh. Okay, my guys. Rayleigh is not that character. Rayleigh is not Virion. They're
Definitely
both
not.
they're both great old men, but they are not the same in tone and quality. I knew the voice
Absolutely
sounded
not.
familiar. I just could not place where I'd heard the voice, and now that I know it's Rayleigh, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, and like
Yeah, it doesn't
to
quite work.
just make sure everyone knows we are not trying to rag on the voice actor. We're trying to
Also,
rag on the director and casting
direction that was
director's
given.
choices.
Yeah, no. All right. And to be fair, I can kind of sort of see it because Rayleigh is kind of an easygoing character, and he does have his moments where he gets serious and the voice kind of like hardens and everything. But like
Mm-hmm.
Virion is like, if you take the lighthearted tone that Rayleigh has, Virion's like double that, and it just doesn't quite match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Virion is like extremely laid back. He's
Yeah.
like,
Until later, like when things get really serious, then
Yeah.
like that kind of fades into the background.
because like that whole fight he's supposed to have with Arthur. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a test, but it's a thing of like he's smiling the whole time, just like, well, damn, this kid's actually
Right.
something.
Like, okay, so the Virion that we met in the anime is the former king, whereas the Virion that we get in the novel and in the comic at this point in time is grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. We got the former king and former war vet in the anime, and in the other two iterations, he was grandpa. Like,
He was
grandpa with some
first.
moves. Grandpa with the moves. Like, he knows how to fight. He'll probably fuck you up, but we're viewing him as grandpa. You know? So it's a very different tone shift between the mediums here, and I did not like this episode. Very much no. Any other last minute stuff you guys want to bring up before we go ahead and give our rating for this episode? Okay, good to go. Let's go ahead and rate this episode. Fenris, how many monocores do you give this one?
4.
4 monocores? You actually give this one that high? Wow. To be fair, it probably has to do with the fact that you don't have the other 2 mediums to compare it to, so that might help.
Yeah.
Now, this is 4 out of 5, right? Not 4 out of 10?
This is 4 out of 100.
Oh my god. No, we're not doing that. It's either 10 or 5. Which one are we doing?
4 out of 10.
Okay, 4 out of 10. Moon, where are you at?
God, I'll give it a 5 and just say I'm being nice.
You don't have to be nice.
Because I really want to give this a 3.
Go ahead. Give it a 3 then.
I give it a 3.
Okay. I give this episode a 2. I detested this episode that much, which is sad because they were, for the most part, they are following the story, but they're making too many changes that completely change the way that you view the characters
Mm-hmm.
from their source material, and there's too much unnecessary like filler. Like, again, that flashback, that just felt like, oh, we're filling in space here because we get a runtime, and it's like, oh my goodness, dude. Yeah, this is my worst episode for me.
Oh yeah.
Going
this is
back to those
terrible.
little green orbs, when you first see him, of course you see his parents. I'm like, okay, cool. They're going to let his parents know that he's fine. No,
Mm-mm.
No, but okay.
That was
the thing
just a
is-
stupid shot, honestly.
Yeah, that was a dumb
Yeah.
shot. Here's the thing, my guy.
I was mentioning that because it's
Moon and
basically
I
turned
know.
into nothing but filler.
Moon
Yeah.
and I know, like, how his parents are gonna get contacted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we know that whole thing, so that's an interesting point of, like, they set it up to make you. The anime is making weird choices to make people think like a bunch of different things, and this is not your fault. This is the anime's fault, 100% there. Also, I'd like to go ahead and point out he didn't throw the green bugs at them. like when Varian Grandpa, he didn't throw green bugs at art.
Yeah, no.
It was like an eraser or something, or like a really soft rock or something. I don't
Yeah, it
remember
was
what
just
it
something kind of mundane, something that
Like,
like wouldn't
he's like
actually hurt.
he's
But
like
he's not a
he's-
man.
He didn't get so angry that he threw a motherfucker at another motherfucker. No.
He didn't throw a mundane man at him.
Yeah. Oh God damn it. Okay. I was gonna say, you ever got so angry you picked up a cactus and started hurling it at people?
Once
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
hurt.
well, that's kind of where I'm at here. All right. So those are our thoughts. Were there some moments that were good in this episode? Yes. There were some moments that I felt like they kind of nailed that moment, but they were few and far between, and they were not redeeming in this episode. I can only hope, with what little amount of hope I have left after this episode, that they do better for the rest of the season, because this was
They won't.
this was not good. This was very bad. I mean, at the end of the day, if we stop doing these reviews, it's because we got tired of doing this. Like, I mean, at this
Like,
point, I'm just saying, I really just
I'm-
want to go and start talking about, freaking Apothecary Diaries with you guys, because at least that has such good characters, good story, and good animation. Like it's like
That's
4s or
fair.
5s on all accounts if we're doing 5 stars, but like 9s and 10s across the board.
At this point, I kind of just want to go back, watch Eminence and Shadow in English and review that. Because
No,
at
I'm
least
good.
that was a great time.
No, I'm good. All right. But yeah, that is our review of the episode. Those are our thoughts. Those are our feelings. Do you agree? Disagree? If so, why? Why not? Let us know the particulars in the comments. And of course, guys, if you like this content, like and subscribe. We are still working on a bridge content. We didn't stop. It's just we have to wait on things, and those things take time, and we have a very limited budget to get those things paid for. So yeah, it takes time. So if you want to help us get a bridge content out faster, if you want to see your favorite series from us quicker, consider becoming a Patreon, or consider joining our Patreon. You can become a patron for only $1 a month, or higher if you're feeling so generous. But we understand
Every little bit
tough
helps, but
times.
even if you can't help, just don't worry about it. We understand.
Yeah, and if you can't help, the best thing that you could do is just spread the word, share it with your friends, let them know, hey, this thing exists. Put it on social media, whatever you can. We really could use the hype. Not kidding. That being said, though, guys, thank you so much. I'm Richie Roberts with Moonlight Sparks
Hi.
and Fenris Arun.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah. We're here to
We
tell
all
you,
are.
watch more anime. Bye-bye.
Good anime.
Yes.